Now, it pains me to say that Cincinnati, to me, is going to be the worst team of these four. Now, what that means record-wise, I'm not sure yet, but I know that I think this is going to be a program that takes a step back. When you lose most of your coaching staff, actually pretty sure all of it, and you lose a program builder like Luke Fickell, you're going to take a step back. Now, you bring in Scott Satterfield, which I think is a good hire. I think that his time at Louisville wasn't great, but this is a guy who can still coach. He can still produce really fun offenses, really exciting offenses. And I think that this is going to be a transition year. And when you bring in a new coach, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to get adjusted, the new staff, the new system, the new players. Everything is going to take some time. And that's the reason I think that Cincinnati is going to struggle because they're going to have all these new things on top of losing a ton of talent. This is a program that has been super successful, 53 wins in the last 5 years. That is really, really good. And now Fickle is off to Wisconsin. You bring in a new coaching staff. You're going to have a new system on offense. The defense is probably going to have another new system. And eventually that's going to catch up to you. Now, the talent they have returning on both sides of the ball makes life maybe a little bit easier, but it's still going to take some time for everybody to get acclimated. And you're joining a new conference. When you look at the non-conference schedule, a trip to Pitt isn't going to be easy, and that's going to be tough. Miami of Ohio always seems to give Cincinnati trouble. Now, what that means in terms of if you're looking at an upset or whatnot, I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to be probably closer than a lot of people expect. To start Big 12 play, you're welcome to Big 12 is a home game against Oklahoma, which I think is a cool dynamic. Having Oklahoma come to Nippert, that I think one of the coolest things about Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, and Houston is some of these home games. You bring in teams that don't normally go there, and honestly, I think that's really cool when you have a team like Oklahoma going to Cincinnati on a road game for the Sooners. That's really fun. That brings in a new dynamic. It gives fans something to be excited about. Now, if Cincinnati is 3-0, that that atmosphere is going to be electric. That is going to be a fun game to watch, and it's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be really fun. Follow that up, they go to BYU again. Even though they're both new, Cincinnati and BYU don't play each other normally. So another game that's going to be really fun. Cincinnati traveling to Provo to play the Cougars. That's going to be a really fun game to me. Again, a lot of these matchups just are really fun matchups. Iowa State at home. That's going to be tough. Iowa State is really tough to beat. Following that up with Baylor as well, another team that is tough to beat as well. A trip to Oklahoma State. I don't know what Oklahoma State's going to be. That's another team I want to keep an eye on, see kind of what they're doing. I don't really know where Mike Gundy has that program going. Maybe it's a year where they take a step back. Who knows? The next two games, two teams they've already faced, UCF and Houston. Nothing really talked there. At West Virginia is going to be tough, I think, with what Cincinnati has going on, and then home game against Kansas. Honestly, I don't like saying that I think Cincinnati is going to maybe go 4-8 it feels like 4-8 and 6-6 is that range right now for them. Obviously, that could change as the offseason goes on. When we dive into more predictions later on, we will see. But when you look at it, I think BYU, you're probably looking anywhere from the 7 to 9 win range. UCF is probably about the same. Houston, honestly, Houston is in the 5 to 7 win range for me. I don't really know. I don't really know what to think of them. And then, like I said, Cincinnati probably in the 4 to 6, and that hurts me to say. And when we take more of a deep dive into the schedules and look at the talent returning, then we'll have a better idea of what our predictions are going to be. So stay tuned for that. But it's going to be fun to see what these four teams can do. It's going to be fun to see this new dynamic of the Big 12, at least while Texas and Oklahoma are still here. And then there's going to be a new dynamic when they leave. That's just going to be really fun to see. I think it's a fun opportunity, a fun new beginning for everybody involved. And for these four teams, it may not be successful as they want right away, but they're just getting their feet wet. And it's going to be fun to see how each team adjusts for the long term.